Hello and welcome to another episode of Punto How To. My name's Andy. I make semi-useful videos on how to look after and repair your Fiat Punto. This is my 2011 Fiat Punto Evo that I have behind me here. I've had this car for about 18 months, nearly 2 years now. I've not treated it very well, and if you want to see how badly it has been treated, check out the videos. The link will appear in the just above me here somewhere, taking you back and looking at the state this car was in only a couple of weeks ago. However, in this video we're going to be addressing one main problem that a lot of you have pointed out in the comments section. It's the badge on the front of the car here. This badge has been hit by a stone at some point and has cracked, then water has got inside the badge and it's got under the plastic and it's caused the red in the badge to fade. It looks pretty terrible. I've picked up a new badge, so I've got the new badge here. This costs about £16 at the moment on Amazon. It is a genuine Fiat part, so I'm going to replace that today. Now, in order to change this badge, you would think it would be fairly straightforward. You just pop it off and pop the new badge on, but actually you've got to take the whole front bumper off just to get behind the badge to take out the little screw that holds it on. So I'm going to be taking off the front bumper. If you need to take your front bumper off for any reason, this video will help walk you through that. I've never done it before on this car, but I understand there's quite a few fastenings that I need to remove, quite a few tools that I'll probably need, and one thing you'll definitely need if you're going to do this job is to get a blanket or some sort of mat to put down in front of the car so that when you take the bumper off you can put it down on the ground without scratching the paint. Also, whilst I had the bumper off, I decided to take a look at this indicator lens, which has got all these little orange flecks inside the lens, which I think have probably flaked off the bulb. To get the actual indicator off the bumper, you're going to have to take the bumper off as well, so we'll do that at the same time. So to take the bumper off, there are 4 T30 screws along the top edge of the bumper, underneath the edge of the bonnet. There are another 4 T30 screws in the bottom edge of the bonnet, just underneath the front of the car. There are 2 10mm bolts in the edge of each wheel arch at the front, and a 10mm nut and bolt each side, securing the bumper to the wing. And at the bottom corners of the bumper, just in front of the wheel, is a Phillips screw to secure the bumper to the wheel arch liner. So my first job is going to be to create some space underneath the front of the car so that I can get tools and things onto the screws that are under the front edge. So we're going to jack the car up off the ground and we're going to secure it on an axle stand. I'm only going to do it on one side because I don't need the whole car off the ground, I just need to create some space. Don't forget to pop the bonnet with the handle on the inside of the cabin. So here are the 4 large flat T30 screws on the top of the bumper that hold the top part of the bumper in place. We take them out very easily. I've got a T30 bit on the end of a drill that makes light work of taking those out. The next problem is the 4 similar screws on the underside of the front bumper, which we had no problem removing once I had attached a large drill bit to my drill and then drilled them out because they're completely rusted in place. It's fine, I'll order some new screws from Fiat. I removed the 2 Phillips screws that secure the wheel arch liner to the front underside part of the bumper on both sides. I then removed the nut and bolt on each side that secures the front bumper to the front wing. This is a 10mm nut and bolt. Did both sides, one side sheared off and the other side came out okay, so I'm going to have to replace one of those. I got a yoga mat ready to lay down on the floor in front of the car. This is to lower the bumper onto once I take it off. What you can now do is start to carefully peel the bumper away from the front wings. There's a series of clips that hold the bumper in along the front wing and along the bottom of the headlight. So what you have to do is sort of peel it out of these areas, so start by getting your hand behind it and then slowly just peel it off and pull it away from the clips. Give the bumper a bit of a wiggle. Now I had forgotten at this point, because my car is in a bit of a shoddy state, a lot of the screws that secure the bumper along the inside of the wheel arch liners were missing. However, there was one still present, and at this point I'd forgotten to remove it. At the moment I'm just reaching down behind the bumper and just connecting the electrical connectors to the indicators and the fog lights. So as you'll see, as I start to get the bumper off, the one bolt, which is on the driver's side of the car, doesn't detach, so I then have to go back and remove that one bolt. Once you remember to remove all the bolts correctly, the bumper will now come off and you can place it carefully down on your mat, blanket, yoga mat, whatever you've got to keep the bumper safe from scratching on the ground. So at this point, if you're just watching to know how to take the bumper off and put the bumper back on, this is pretty much it. The bumper is now off and you can do whatever you need to do. If, like me, you plan to change the badge on the front bumper, then you can carry on watching and I will show you how to do that now. This is the back of your front bumper, and there are 4 Phillips screws that hold the little nose badge part of the front bumper on. So remove those 4 screws, it doesn't take too long, very easy. And once you've done that, there are a load of little clips as well that also hold this front badge section of the bumper on, which you need to carefully unclip and then remove the whole sort of nose and its wings. So there we go, turning it over, there is a little 8mm bolt on the back of the badge, so we're going to find ourselves a tool to undo that and remove that. So we unscrewed the screw and simply push the badge off its backing. And then we get our new badge out of its box, which I've got here, and this has a little backing on it just to keep the back clean, and there is also some sticky on there, but I'm not too worried about the sticky because the badge is bolted in place. So putting the new badge on is the same as taking the old one off. Put the little 8mm nut back on the badge and we'll nip that up with a socket just to make sure it's tight. Clip the little nose piece with its wings back to the front bumper, and then you can put the 4 screws back in to secure the whole thing in place. So at this point the front badge is replaced. Now you can put the front bumper back on now and refit it using all the same screws and fastenings that you used to take the bumper off, or in this case what we're going to have a look at is the passenger side front indicator, which has got all these little orange flecks inside, which have obviously come off one of the bulbs at some point. So back to the back of the bumper, we've got 3 Phillips screws that we need to undo on the back of the little light unit to remove it. One at the top and one at each end. Once we've undone those, it's just a case of carefully sort of wiggling the light fitting out. It isn't it doesn't remove easily, you can't just pull it and it comes out, but you just have to work it around some of the plastic bits of the bumper to get it out. Once you've got it out, which we have there, you can see all those loose bits of orange inside the lens. So to get to them, we're going to take the bulb out next. To get the bulb out is fairly easy, just twist the bulb holder and then pull the bulb out, which in this case it's fairly obvious where all those orange flecks have come from because the bulb is in a sorry state, and then we're just going to try and shake them out as best we can to try and get the orange flecks out of the light unit. Once we've got as many of the orange flecks out as possible, we're going to put the lamp back in the bumper and then pop it back in with the 3 screws, just securing it in place, and then pop the indicator bulb back in. That is our little list of jobs done for the day. So we're going to plug all the electrical connectors back into the bulbs, so the fog lights at the bottom and the indicators higher up, and we're going to put the bumper back in its place. Going to go around the little clips around the bottoms of the headlights and around where the bumper meets the front wing and make sure everything is clipped in place. And then we're going to start the process of putting all the screws back in. So remember, there are 4 screws along the top of the bumper, 4 screws along the bottom of the bumper. There are 2 nuts and bolts at each junction between the front wing and the front bumper. There are 2 little nuts and bolts on each side from the wheel arch into the back of the bumper, and then there are 2 little Phillips screws that connect the bottom part of the wheel arch liner to the bottom part of the bumper as well. And hopefully once you've done all that, you will have something that looks like this with the bumper fully assembled and back on the car. You can get the car now back down on the ground and off its axle stands. Close the bonnet and it's time to admire that handiwork. That is way better than it was to begin with, much shinier, much deeper red, and it looks brand new. And just in case you'd forgotten, this is what it looked like before. Well, that's it for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video and found it useful. If you have, do give us a thumbs up. If you're planning to tackle this job yourself, why not drop a comment in the comment section below, tell us what you're up to and tell us what Fiat Punto car you own. If you haven't already done so, do consider clicking subscribe. The subscribe button is now on your screen, and there's also a couple of other videos on the left of the screen that you might want to check out, things that we've done in the past as well. We will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and take care.